I'm Tony Sklar with bnetTV. We are here at the LTE Asia Summit 2012 in Singapore, and I am speaking with Radisys' Manish Singh. How are you today, sir?
I am doing very, very well, Tony. How are you doing?
Very well, my friend. It's always good to see you at these conferences.
Same here. It's good to see you, and thanks for having me here with bnetTV.
It's always all part of a conference family. We see each other all around the world and get to talk cool technologies.
Oh, we do. I mean, always a busy conferencing circuit,
right?
Especially now with LTE coming to life, it's getting busier for the right reasons, so loving every bit of it.
So let's talk about where you're positioned within this ecosystem. What makes you better than your competitors in this market space?
Yeah, I mean, see, for us, when we look at LTE, I've always simplified it to two particular dimensions. One is it's all about data growth, data. And then second is the struggle that the operators continue to have with data, which is how do you monetize it and how do you reduce the cost per bit. So from a Radisys perspective, we focused all our investments into product portfolios that either aggressively lower the cost per bit for the operators or that really help the operators in introducing new value-added services that enable monetization. Give you an example, on the radio access network side, we've wholly embraced the HetNet architecture, bringing small cell products to market. We now have 70+ customer wins, the undisputed leading provider in the industry when it comes to small cell software, both for 3G as well as LTE, and now we're working on multi-mode solutions with 3G and Wi-Fi, LTE and Wi-Fi, really delivering operators the right solution on the access side that enables them to augment capacity and lower cost per bit. Moving further into the network, into the core network, we actually introduced our new ATCA platform, T-Series. It's a 40 gig, thank you. It's a 40 gig platform that independent market research has already shown it's lowering the cost per bit by 56%.
Wow.
Exactly, and I think that's exactly what's getting the operators excited about, saying here's a product that comes in that really aggressively tackles one of the biggest problems that they've been facing with. But it's not only that. Beyond that, two other things that we've been investing significantly. Both of these technologies are around monetization piece. One is on deep packet inspection, enabling DPI as the right tool for operators so they can monetize data, understand what data is flowing on their networks, and then start either segmenting the market segment or even embracing some new exciting business models where you can monetize the other end of the pipe. So really getting to monetizations on both ends of the pipe. And last but not the least, we all know the fastest growing traffic on the networks is video.
Yes.
And with our media resource function, we're now bringing a product to market that aggressively addresses operators' need for voice over LTE and then video over LTE. Services that you might not have yet heard because they're yet to be brought out, but things like video ringback tones, video conferencing. You've heard about interactive voice responses when you call any enterprise, but now bringing interactive video voice response systems to life. So a whole new consumer experience that can be delivered through conversational video, and that can be monetized by the operators. And I think that the underlying technology we need is LTE, we need the fat pipes in place, but then also bringing solutions that enable true monetization and true new service experience to the consumer.
So there are so many different facets that I could jump on each one of these trains here, whether we're talking about gesture within gesture within video regarding making calls to enterprise, just because they're using it within the television space right now, or even jumping on the idea that prior to getting on camera, you and I were talking about where fixed line is being kind of in certain areas or in geographies are being phased out, and broadband is taking sort of control of that, and LTE is at the forefront of that.
Absolutely. So I think when we look at fixed line, I mean, LTE clearly now brings the fat pipe, a wireless fat pipe to the consumers and becomes a very compelling solution for that. But when you touched on video and video in the enterprise, One of the things we see today is video conferencing is growing in the enterprise. It's a CEO's tool. In the large conference room with which they bring their executives, especially in a remote geographic environment, they bring their teams together. However, here's the problem. You have executives who are on the go, who are on the move, and how do you bring them in? And now with LTE, you have the fat pipe. With the smart screen, with smartphones, you have the fat screen, the big screen, and you have nice CPU horsepower in there. So you have all the pieces that have fallen in place, and the end executive who's on the go should be able to connect and participate in that conferencing system. Right? That's just one example of many video applications.
Just one example
yes,
of it,
that can be enabled.
You know, with the I'm going to talk for a second here with the announcement of the Apple iPhone 5. Yes. Okay, so just some really good examples that I'm not necessarily sure if the marketplace is. You know, it always takes the analysts a little bit of time to figure it out, whereas we in this in our little ecosystem here are like, yep, great, see it, totally understand it. That's great for them. And the analysts, well, you know, it wasn't that great, or wasn't this, or wasn't that. That's garbage. The fact that it's got a great processor in it, the fact that it's got a little bit of a bigger screen, and the fact that it's going to be LTE enabled, well, you've just answered that exact target market who's going to be, hey, I'm a hot desk user, right? I don't like to be tied to my desk. I need to be, I'm a C-level exec. I'm on the go. Bring me in on whatever conversation you want. What phone am I using? An LTE compatible phone with video.
Absolutely. And by the way, what does this do for the operators? It enables them, if they play it smart, to start monetizing the service by offering value-added services.
Bingo.
So you can offer, whether it's video conferencing or video ringback tones. I mean, we know how big ringback tones are in Asia.
Right.
But now with the smart screen, why not start offering video ringback tones? So you're not only playing music, but you could play a nice little video clip, customized by the consumer to their needs. But there are all these very simple yet exciting applications that LTE enables that needs to be brought to life. And Radisys really, I'm thrilled to see that we are at the forefront of bringing all those back.
So I like where you're coming from there for sure. Radisys, you've been in the marketplace for a while, yeah. And we've, you know, with the onset of all the technologies that we've seen, for this past 6 to 8 months, the majority of the conversations that have ensued have been over OTT and applications, because it's the consumer and end user that's driving the monetization of the platform, and you seem to be well positioned within the marketplace. What are some of the challenges that still exist that you've been talking about here?
Yeah, I think for us, just in terms of challenges and getting grounded in reality. First of all, when we look at LTE, number one challenge, voice over LTE. How do you bring true voice experience on an all IP network? So we need to address that, and the core need that IMS starts playing in true voice over LTE solutions out. So that's step number one for us. Step number two then, as you rightly said, it could be over the top, it could be the application and services offered by the operator itself. And then architecturally we're looking at IMS as the right place to do it, but then what does cloud do to all of this? Right. Do you put these services and applications and offer them through the cloud, or do you offer them in the central office? And we again have advanced the ball on this by bringing our whole media processing solution that can be hosted in the cloud.
Okay.
So that's really taking it to the next step and enabling operators where they can make a choice whether they want to put it in the central office or really leverage the economics that cloud has to offer. So we're taking that to the next step from a service offering perspective.
You've got some good end-to-end solutions, because you're also in the small cell arena, where if there's deployment along the edge, you're still able to offer those cloud services to point them back to some of that that small cell arena, whether even if there's DLNA involved.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll tell you. So, as I was telling you earlier, from Radisys' perspective, our focus being end-to-end wireless infrastructure from access, core, policy, and IMS, it does give us a complete end-to-end understanding of the pipe, understanding the issues in the pipe, and understanding of what the opportunities are. On the small cell side, as I shared with you, a lot of success we are having both on 3G and LTE, now moving to multi-mode small cells, but also one of the things that we're looking at is Cloud RAN. I think that's the next big thing that's about to happen, especially now given where CIPRE is and the ability to address 20-kilometer distance, so on and so forth, especially in dense urban population areas, being able to really put that infrastructure in the cloud and enable a true cloud-like environment. So for us, cloud is everywhere.
Right.
We are looking at media processing in the cloud. We're looking at cloud on the RAN side with Cloud RAN. And then, of course, our ATCA platforms in the core, we're virtualizing all of them and putting the right load balancer that enables a true cloud-like infrastructure, but in the central office, and enabling operators to use the infrastructure more effectively and really realize the cloud economics in the central office.
So we've seen a lot of the operators come to market with monetizing some of these solutions that you're talking about when it comes to offering the enterprise and small businesses some cloud-based systems that normally they would have in office, that being the small business in office, whether it's stuff like Microsoft 365 or whether it's just basic storage systems or, again, the video conferencing. But if the operators monetizing those systems at a faster pace, it's going to bring down the CapEx spending from the small business, which is going to allow them to expand their workforce, which put butts in seats. So it seems to be a nice, good little circle that's sort of going on there.
Yeah, I mean, I think from an operator perspective, when we look at the cloud, the opportunities are multifold. First and foremost, it's the traditional offering cloud services, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and the real advantage the operator has is they already have the touch point with the CIO, providing connectivity today, tomorrow expanding that connectivity to connectivity and computing. They can offer both to the CIO. So that's the starting point. The other way we are looking at this whole space is, what does the cloud economics do to the central office? Can it really lower the cost per bit for the operators if they adopt cloud-like infrastructure in their central office without giving away NEBS compliance, without giving away HA capabilities and 5.9 reliabilities that they so need in the central office? And what we've come to a realization is there are clear opportunities for operators to embrace cloud-like principles in the central office that improves network efficiency for them.
Does this allow the operators the ability to slow down their deployment of LTE while they decide on how to manage policies in different areas, keeping 3G networks and utilizing some of Radisys systems in the small cell arena to keep the onload and offload between 3G and LTE and cloud-based services?
I think it doesn't necessarily slow down LTE.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I think LTE is probably one of the few times that when the technology arrives to the market is already ready for adoption. I think, especially especially if we go back in time and remember what happened with 3G. Very different scenario. Absolutely. But with LTE, the consumer is ready to adopt. Rather, they're craving for fatter pipes. They're craving for faster connectivity on their wireless networks, and with all these smartphone phenomena that we know about. So I think it's all in there. What cloud does really is it enables the operators to look at the infrastructure in a slightly different way to improve the network efficiency, the economics of the platforms that they deliver, and really start looking at, can they lower the cost per bit further? Are there all the services that they should be offering in the central office, or can they take some of them and move them into a cloud environment, especially things like media processing in the cloud or Cloud RAN on the access network side?
Manish, what are we going to see from Radisys here in the next 12 months when it comes to helping a lot of the other ancillary businesses that are adding themselves to our ecosystem, like connected cars, like the M2M solutions, like the M-Health arena?
What you will see from Radisys is bringing a wireless infrastructure solutions that enable all of them, whether it's M2M, connected cars, or wireless health, and so on and so forth. All of these services, at the end of the day, rely on a robust infrastructure that provides connectivity, capacity, and a good QoS experience for these services. Our key focus really is on the access side, small cells that augment capacity and provide coverage in a most cost-effective way. On the core infrastructure side, 40 gig ATCA, lowering cost per bit, and DPI, enabling operators for policy enforcement. And finally, in the IMS domain, it's all about media processing for voice over LTE and video over LTE.
Manish, always a pleasure to speak with you. I hope we get a chance to do this again in the next, how about 2 weeks at CTIA?
Absolutely, and thank you very much again for giving me the opportunity.
You betcha, my pleasure. My pleasure. I've been speaking with Manish Singh of Radisys here at the LTE Asia Summit in Singapore for 2012. I'm Tony Sklar with bnetTV.